Difference between being a youth and homeless versus an adult and homeless. Although adults are able to stay in shelters, there is often no room in those shelters. According to the Sojourner House, at least 15 to 20 people are turned away every night during the winter months. Adults are able to access more services than youth. However, the resources needed to simply apply for the services are often unavailable. Not unlike youth, but likely more prevalent, the adult homeless population deals daily with the stigma attached to being homeless. Youth. Not being legal age can make it much more difficult for homeless youth to find a safe place to sleep. Many homeless youth are counting on attending school. It is difficult for these individuals to find the supplies needed for school, not to mention everyday life like toothbrushes or food and other items. Homelessness is a major effect on youth's future development, including higher rates of emotional, behavioral, and intermediate long-term health problems. They often struggle with self-esteem, putting them at a high risk of substance use, suicide, or other mental health disorders. Obviously, being an adult, you are more able to access more services. Most of the time, you're less vulnerable to assault or any type of attack unless you're a youth, or you are a youth. Generally, adults tend to be more mature and make more rational decisions. Most youth have a high impulsivity and a lower ambitious rate. So youth who are placed in foster homes have a higher tendency to run away from the system because they can't stop the impulsivity, which in turn turns them away from which help they could have gotten and makes it hard for them to get back on their feet. Researchers have consistently found higher rates of mental health disorders among youth experiencing homelessness. While some studies say mental health disorders are predictor of future homelessness, others have found mental health disorders are an outcome of homelessness. Due to a higher rate of mental illness, youth have a harder time to adjusting when trying to acclimate with society. One source of mental illness tends to be trauma. Homelessness is more trauma being added to the baggage they already carry with them day in and day out. This tends to be a circular logic, meaning this always comes back to itself, like the metaphor, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Mental illness and homelessness population could be the topic of its own. I know I've only touched briefly on this subject, but I encourage you to do what you can try to understand this more completely. A picture worth 1,000 words. But 1,000 words is not enough to describe what homeless youth go through every day.